Hi, my name is Rutena Nyamwada, and welcome back to another phenomenal, exciting episode of In My 20s. In My 20s. On today's episode of the In My 20s podcast, we sit down with our guest who chats about his journey of dealing with criticism, particularly in the workspace. So welcoming himself onto the In My 20s podcast and into the In My 20s family, here he is.
Hey, my name is Johan Ackerman. I'm a TV producer, I'm a trash TV lover, and I'm all about music, fitness, and my precious dog, Donut, which is currently my life.
So on every episode of the In My 20s podcast, my guests always come through with these incredible mind moments or gem moments, and this is just one of them.
In this one sentence, your entire career has been brought into question for 9 people that were CC'd in. 100%. And you're just like, these people now know me for what you just said. And that is not fair.
The In My 20s podcast is split up into 3 sections. In the first section, we get to hear a little bit more about Johan's career journey. In the second section, we dive into today's topic, which is all about criticism versus the ego. And rounding up all 3 sections is a conversation about the all-encompassing, overwhelming 20s journey. So without further delay, let's get straight into it. So Johan, to kickstart the beautiful podcast, I want to know about your career journey.
So I grew up in Pretoria. I studied film and TV in Johannesburg, which was quite an exciting journey. And I moved down to Cape Town, literally packed my car overnight after Christmas. And I told my parents, I'm moving down, I've got a job, I've got everything. Meanwhile, I was sleeping on a friend's couch.
Love
and
it.
I was like, did not know what I was going to do after, obviously, summer has passed. So that was quite a crazy journey. But as soon as I got to Cape Town, I made friends. I had a few here, there, and I started on a few loose productions, just working here and there.
Yeah.
Then I went back for my honors year, which the NAVF was like, please come back. Then obviously sat in the realm of unemployment, or as we call it, fun employment for a while.
As a creative.
Yeah, you know what I mean? The worst is it's very difficult to break into the creative space as someone who just finished studying when you don't have as much drive to be in the creative space, because after honors I really felt quite drained from being creative, and I just wanted a job where someone's like, do this, do that, do this, and I didn't have any drive of wanting to take the lead. I just wanted to follow at that point.
Yeah.
And I feel that was after my studies, I really came into this headspace, and I won't label it as lazy. I would label it as I went into a different phase of my life where I just wanted to learn. And I really just wanted to take in everything that people said and who people were and those kind of things.
But I think that's the idea of, as soon as when you're finished studying anyway, you want to be a sponge. You want to learn from. You step into a company and you're like, there's the executive. I want to be like them. What do I have to do to be you? And you just want to learn.
Exactly. But it's so strange, because I feel like in today's culture, like people walking out of university because it's now such a feat to getting a tertiary education, like a degree or whatever, you already have this mindset of like, I'm already one step ahead of someone who doesn't have it. So you walk into a workspace with kind of less of like not being grateful of having the opportunity to learn. I would say you walk in being grateful for having a salary, but you technically walk into a space that like where you'll be learning and you'll be growing. I always say it in interviews, I was like, don't hire me if I'm not right for the company. If I'm right for the company, great, because everyone can do everything. You can do a job no matter what. It just depends if I really fit into your environment. And honestly, I need to make sure if you fit in my environment. Because working under someone who like constantly pushes you down, it can kill creativity like so quickly.
But you've been through the highs and lows to be able to say that. A lot of people entering the work environment are like, just hire me. I'm aware I'm being paid. I'll do anything.
Like literally anything.
And after you've screwed yourself over multiple times by saying yes to everything, you find yourself going, no.
Wait. Yeah. Just wait.
Yeah.
I'm fine where I am right now. I'm going to just suss this out. And it's not being picky. It's not being ungrateful for any opportunity that comes by. It's just like, I'm going to waste your time because I'm not going to do what you want me to do. You're going to waste my time because I'm going to be expected to do things that honestly is not the direction that I want to go in.
So, as human beings, undoubtedly the one thing that we do not enjoy or respond very well to is criticism, be it positive or negative, constructive or destructive criticism, I think that's the word. But we always go on the defense. Tell me a little bit about what your opinions are on criticism in general.
In my life personally, criticism has been the biggest tool to have taken something that is meant in various different ways, either positive, negative, constructive, deconstructive, whatever shape or form it comes in. I've always found it to be a learning tool. I've always learned, and I had to learn this the hard way, is I had to remove myself from what they say. Remove it because at the end of the day, when you walk away, you literally leave it where it was. You leave it in that space. You leave it with them, and you don't have to take it with you. You literally have the right. It is your right. And you know what's the funniest thing? Most people don't even believe, most people don't even follow this. It's your right to leave what that person said right there. It's your right to take it with you, be angry, and share it to everyone else. And funny enough, that's what the ego wants. The ego wants to share that, like, this person just told me I'm this. This person just told me this. I've been working with this person on this project, and can you believe it? The other person said this about it. So there's like different ways you can take this level of, like, take criticism and you can like change it and mold it to fit who you are as a person. You can learn from it. Honestly, every experience is a learning experience.
To be very honest,
Yeah.
that is a very intellectualized, I have lived a full life and now have come to this conclusion of criticism. But for most of us, criticism is, I mean, like I've said, like, you're very mature and you've gone through quite a bit of criticism to come to where you are
I'm very
now.
mature. I'm not sure. But yeah.
But take me back to the first time you felt, even in a work environment, because I feel like that's the place where criticism kind of hurts the most.
In my work environment, I've been criticized. Funny enough, this is actually quite hilarious. I've been criticized for being too likable. So I've literally been sat down and said, I don't like you are too likable. You need to tone down your opinion in front of people.
But that is such an odd thing to be criticized for,
Yes.
Being likable, and then the second one, having an opinion. And particularly sometimes with management, the thing is, if you are not aligned with what they are saying, first of all, so now you are in opposition, you're opposing what they're saying or opposing what they're doing, you're seen as a troublemaker, essentially. And that's where you were a likable troublemaker.
Right? You don't even know the half of it.
And then the fascinating thing that you just said now, which was like light bulb mind moment, is that criticism.
Yes, I had a mind moment.
Mind moment. The criticism often doesn't work the other way around.
Yeah.
The advice should be two ways.
Yeah.
So you, as my person who I report to, I will take information from you. I will take criticism.
Yeah.
You don't like the way I use, tongue-in-cheek in my emails, and you want me to be a bit more professional. Cool, I'll take that. But I don't like the way you call me out in a meeting in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Can you please rather pull me aside and say, Retendo, I don't like the way you... or your report was, but rather criticize every single point, because that does something to a person's like morale.
No, it really, 100%. So the thing what you mentioned about criticism going both ways is so interesting, because the way I got to that point in my life about being criticized. And you know what is amazing is going out for a cigarette with your friends and you like, can you just believe they told me this? And you immediately jump on the bandwagon. You're like, if I had an opportunity to speak, I would say X, Y, and Z.
Yes, yeah.
And it would be the most relieving moment. But it's so funny because nothing actually happens with it. It's not like anything is happening with your comment. They didn't hear it. Life just went on.
But even the fear of just getting to that moment of management.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I talk to you?
Exactly. It's quite a big moment. But I realized the only person that wanted to reply with something was my ego, because my ego was the one that said, I was like, calm down. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
Identify why. Okay, because management is a little bit scared because I'm more likable than they are. That makes sense. Move on. You don't have to repeat it. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops. Understand that and maybe grow from it. So if you want to approach a situation like that, let that criticism come to you. Take it. Take it in your stride. Go home, drink a cup of coffee, drink tea, drink whatever you drink.
Yes.
And then next day, just maybe have a mature meeting, catch up, whatever your company calls it, and just have an honest moment where you're like, I just wanted to share with you, thank you so much for your criticism. I've realized in way X and Y, I can actually make it better because I've listened to what you said. I do want to share something from my side. I would appreciate it if you be more X and Y because I feel you do this. So in that process, what you did is you listened to the criticism they gave you. If it's difficult, you can't change. Like I couldn't be less likable. I could only reply saying, I understand. I will try to keep my opinion to myself. But please know that I can't help what people hear and I can't help when I do speak. So I will try my best. And that's what I could do. And then secondly, you having an approach where you gave them the fact that I have a solution, and then you have a moment where you kind of like speaking to their better nature. I was like, I would like to share with you now a little bit of a criticism, but not criticism, more like just something that bothers me. And you use the magic words, I feel. Because you can never feel wrong.
Okay.
When you feel, you feel. I feel like you are attacking.
Instead of, I know you are attacking.
You know what I mean? I was like, I feel hurt right now. I was like, he hurt. You know? I was like, there's nothing you can do. As soon as a person says he feels or I feel, in the world of like, I don't know, I'm like 100% wrong or I'm right, I don't know. But like in the world of like office, like HR, all that, you are in gold when you say, I feel.
But I feel, Johan, that you work in beautiful, fairy-like environments because I'm not going to lie. There have been moments where I've been called out and publicly criticized. Yes, there's the positive criticism, which you're just like, okay, cool. Maybe I will, I don't know, not leave things until the last minute to do. Work ahead of time. But then there's negative criticism, which is not very much like, let me pull myself towards myself, understand what you're trying to say. Negative criticism, you've spoken about the ego, which I also want to talk about. Negative criticism is, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
Do you know what I do? And by the way, do you know that I actually do your job, management? So pull yourself towards yourself, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to re-say what you just said.
Yeah.
That's the natural defense.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the attack. You want to go to work. You want to go on the attack. Let's do the dance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that when people are dancing to a song that you didn't even play?
Oh, my goodness. That is so insane. So also for a great part of my career, I've had people that I worked with that was not always positive and not always giving good feedback and not always like something as light as like you're too likable. Like some of the things were quite hectic, like calling me out and like little like comments that were extremely belittling or like
can you give me
attacking
some
for
examples?
My character. No, like it would be something like, you know, if you had to submit something and it would be like, can't you comprehend what I'm trying to tell you? Like, should I slow down? Or like what? And like, so I'm Afrikaans. So I've always felt there'll always be just a difference when it comes to me typing something, writing something. I will always have errors. And it's funny because for some English people have errors, but like it would be magnified in my work because I am Afrikaans. So it would already immediately be like, this person's work needs to be checked. And I'm just like, I've got spell check. Calm yourself. Pull yourself towards yourself and calm it. So that was quite a difficult thing for me to get over.
So were you publicly criticized, or was
yes,
that something
yes.
So everyone would know that this 20-something-year-old grown man has spelling issues.
Yes. But
and then, like, how does that make you feel as a person?
It's not just that, but like, remember, it's not just publicly, it's on email as well. And email is a big thing for the digital world.
When everyone is CC'd in.
Yes, when people CC'd in. And that you get these polite, like, digs in your direction. And it's like your person immediately feels attacked and you feel this is not on. It's almost like in this one sentence, your entire career has been brought into question for 9 people that were CC'd in. 100%. And you're just like, these people now know me for what you just said. And that is not fair because I need to work with these people.
Exactly.
And the worst is you're going to expect me to have respect for them and them to have respect for me. But how would that if you don't even lead by example?
Exactly.
So that was such a frustrating moment. And can I tell you, and the times where I've been criticized, and I'm going to call it that, I've been insulted in front of people in my career, in my job, where people would even afterwards come to me, they're like, are you okay? Like, I would have said this. All I've taken from that moment is like, understand, and this sucks. It really does suck having to be that person. But to take a moment, calm down, and just understand where they're coming from, not with what they said, but just understand the pressure they are under, and be that person to saying, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Even if you have to be stern, even if you have to say, you will not speak to me like that, we can talk about this tomorrow, and you move away. Because as soon as you start retaliating with things that's digging into them and into their side, because they sit in a different position, or even if it's a colleague, you are going in the complete wrong direction.
Because it takes it away from work. It becomes emotion versus emotion,
and
as
like,
opposed
who has
to work versus...
Oh my God, who has time for that? I mean, you have to... But, I mean, like, it is...
Come for me.
Yes, let's go.
I'm kidding.
And start the clock. No, but it's funny. Like, I was like, we all complain that we don't have enough time in our day. We take work home, yet our day is filled with like having to like maneuver like a landscape of emotional minefields, either with your boss, with your colleague, because you don't want to start this like this comment from them or this or that. I had a colleague, and I'm going to speak extremely vague now, someone that I worked with that had someone join their team that was not as qualified. And this person wasn't 100% briefed on what they had to do. And they tried to do it, but this person was really nowhere in the industry. They did not know what they were doing. And instead of being a superior that leads and helps them, they were immediately annoyed and they were frustrated. And the way they started speaking to this person was in any way wrong. And this person decided to take a stand and just like record it for her, and to ask someone who's not, because she's new in the world of work and jobs, just to like, is this truly the way? Is this fine? Because I feel this is not fine. And people, like the two co-colleagues that she shared it with, were like appalled and said, you have to take this further. But in the structure that I was, there were no up. There was no up, which sucked. So at that point, what do you do? So the person obviously confronted with what was there, and that person was mortified. You weren't known. Keeping the identity a secret.
I love it, yeah.
But the person was like shook that this was a reality for them. That you can hear how disgusting you speak to other people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that is your punishment. At that point, I would hold my head high and I would walk out. Because I was like, I don't have to do this, because you will sit in this moment and you will badmouth me until you die. Not saying you will die, but until you die. I will walk out and I'll move on from this moment, and I'm going to have an amazing life. And you will sit in this moment of being criticized by your own voice and your own moment, and you'll criticize yourself. And I think that's bringing it full circle to criticism, it's interesting because in a moment of receiving criticism, a lot of people also tend to then criticize themselves because they have this want to be liked and this need to be liked. If you don't go to the one way where you like completely reject it, you might go the other way where you completely accept it and you like completely live in these words what this person might have told you. Imagine it's someone you like. Maybe your crush told you that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you change your hair color or you change this.
Because of this one person.
Because it's all this criticism. And I mean, I feel like you can also like really like, you can reach it out to so many different aspects of your life that as long as you live your truth and accept criticism for literally what it is, someone else's opinion, take it or leave it, and move on with your life.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things, and I feel that's also why I'm sitting where I am today in my career, and why I'm so driven and passionate about what I do. Because when other people come to me with their opinions or their criticism or whatever it is, it's literally that. And it reaches a wall, and I will decide what I take into my space, and the rest will stay where it is there. It really does.
As you were speaking, actually, I had flashbacks, as they do in TV series, of some of the moments where I've been criticized. And to be very honest, if I look at the people who were lashing out, and I look at the, not to, make this very, not thoughtful, but very, what is it? Not to intellectualize everything as I sometimes can, but there is a human behind these people. And they're real humans with real issues, and just as I am flawed, and we're imperfect human beings trying to live and breathe and create and work different careers, and we've got family and friends, but there is this, all you get to see is the work aspect of these people, and we don't always know what's going on inside of them as well, and what they're facing, what they came to work carrying, and what they're going back home to. We're all humans. We're not machines. We're not robots. We feel, we breathe, we hurt. We sometimes all management, from your juniors to your seniors, have all cried in the bathroom before. I'm 100% certain a little bit about that. I certainly have. But it's coming down to this human aspect of who we are. Yes, take responsibility for your actions. And I love what you said about taking responsibility. It's on you. It's not about the other person and how you're going to affect the other person. You take responsibility for your actions and stuff. And then just rounding up, I want to just touch very briefly on something you mentioned, which I think is fascinating, the idea and the concept of the ego. The
ego is that thing in you that is offended. The ego is that thing in you that is loved and adored. The ego is that thing in you that loves and wants affirmation, that wants and needs. It is so funny because so many things that people get called out for and get like ridiculed for, and like I want to almost say you get profiled for, like I would be needy, or you would be selfish, or you would be this, or you would be that. It all stems from one place, and that's the ego. Third quarter.
20s journey.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced the all-encompassing, very dramatic, unscripted quarter-life crisis? And if you have, when was your quarter-life crisis?
Yes, I did. Jeez.
I love the answer.
No, I 100% did, but it's kind of an embarrassing one.
Yes.
So, when I was at varsity, I had an identity crisis like one will never believe. But it's like coming from an all Afrikaans school, like I obviously had to fight with the question of being gay, going to a varsity where it's like you met with different religions, different races, different this, different that. Like your mind just explodes with the possibility of you can be anyone you want to be. And my truth was literally that. It was not truth. I started lying to myself in so many different ways that I wanted to be, because growing up, I was this constant person that was just being everyone's favorite person, and I was constantly living for them, and I was not living for myself.
You're like a people pleaser almost,
And especially now, I'm also battling with the fact that I'm feeling something for guys that I was never introduced. So how do I know what this is? And I mean, you're battling with this, you're battling with depression. There's like so many different feelings. And then you get to varsity and it's just open. And it's just, it was the most insane and a most amazing experience being exposed to all of that. But in that, I was so overwhelmed because I didn't know what or who I should be to be liked by all these different people.
Sure.
And with that, I started living this life where I would say certain things, or I would still be me, but in a moment where I was confronted by someone that might not immediately like me or might have a certain opinion of me, I would twist a reality. Not lie. I would take a reality and I would alter it to get the reaction I wanted.
Okay.
And
so you would like retell a story or retell the situation? Or
there would be truth to it, but to a point where it was my truth.
Okay.
It would you can actually call it lying, basically.
Oh my gosh, you were inceptioning the moment.
Yeah, it was hectic.
Dream, is this reality?
Reality. Yeah, but it was hectic because it's one of those embarrassing moments. You don't want to call yourself out on it, but I had to because I had to accept it and I had to take it in and I had to. For all the good and amazing friends and people I met, there was always constantly something I said somewhere along my journey with them that was not 100% true. And it sucked. It really did suck. Because it's just, and you live it in every day. I mean, when someone asks you something and you don't want to tell them the truth, you just make up something quickly.
Yes.
But for me, it was my base foundation with people.
Okay.
And that was me not living my truth with them. But the ego wanted to fit in. The ego wanted to be accepted. And also it was my first 3 years in the gay world as well, where I was I had to experience what it meant being in an actual relationship where you had to have feelings for people.
Were you openly gay at home?
No,
so this
not
was
at all.
The first time.
Yes,
okay.
It was 100% first time me having to live a truth.
Wow.
So it was quite crazy, but when the way I kind of stepped out of that was it was when I made a decision that I've reached the ends of what I kind of dubbed it at the end of mid third year. I dubbed it as this was an experimental trial. The real life will start tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And I dubbed that entire experience as my trial, and I wanted to move to Cape Town, packed my bags at the end of the year, and I moved on. And I kept in touch with every person that I had that genuine connection with, even though there might have been something I didn't say.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, I either had the opportunity to correct it or the friendship fizzled away.
You have definitely shared some beautiful mind moments.
Oh gosh, yeah. So there was a lot of information
there
taken
is
in
5
5 hours.
There is so much to actually just take away, but I want to find out what piece of advice you would want to leave with those listening, particularly with a focus on the criticism.
In a moment of silence where you have the opportunity to either think and respond, whatever you will say to that person, will it hurt them? Will it bring them love? Will it bring them joy? Will it bring you love? Will it bring you joy? Would it be criticism? Would it be constructive criticism? And what direction is whatever you will be saying, whatever you'll be doing, how would it be perceived? And it's difficult trying to think that it's going to take up a lot of time. But if you do it for key moments in your day, start with three, and you'll realize how easy it is to start implementing it more.
Thank you so much, Johan, for coming on to today's episode of the In My 20s podcast. I cannot honestly say how much this conversation really hit home a bit. I think when you receive criticism from people, or it might just be their opinion or advice from people, you do always take it from that first line of defense to go, oh my word, what did they say? And suddenly, because we're more critical of ourselves than the world around us, we take this criticism to heart and live with it. But when you spoke about like pulling out the pieces, listen to what they've said, pull out the pieces. Is it true? Is it not true? Is it going to benefit me in my life? Do I grow from this? And then moving from a position of strength, it kind of changes the conversation a little bit and kind of changes your reaction. So we'll catch you same time, same place, right here on In My 20s. In my 20s, in my 20s. How old are you? I am in my 20s. Okay, bye.